Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co Daily Futures Market Review for the trading day ending Wednesday, April 6th. Firstly to gold futures, and following the bullish price activity of the previous day and the market bouncing off the 1218 level of support, we've seen a development of a candle where the buyers have lost control of the market. The sellers haven't really taken control away from the buyers. They've closed just below the midpoint level, so pretty much neither party has taken control, but we do have formation of a black body candle, and that means that there has been some net momentum between the open and the close to the downside as opposed to the upside from the previous day's trading. The market has, however, found support once again at that 1218 level. We do have a market that's been moving sideways in a congestion area, bound by resistance at 1237.9 overhead and support around and just below this 1218 level. Hovering above and below the Tenkan Sen indicator suggests that there is quite a bit of indecision in this market. In the longer term time frame, however, there's no such indecision. We are still bullish in that longer term time frame, but we have been moving back towards that Ichimoku cloud, and it does suggest that soon, if the market does break out to the downside below this 1218 level, we could have the market transitioning away from that bull phase in the longer term time frame. Now, that idea of a neutral market is supported at the moment by the Chica span over the last week or two, hovering above and below the price action and closing within the price action on multiple occasions. So it's suggesting that momentum in that medium term time frame is really quite weak and quite indecisive, and obviously we see the market forming this congestion area. If we do see the market come off, we'll be looking to strong support to come in around the top of the Ichimoku cloud, and as we move into the end of this week and within the start of next week, that cloud does move significantly higher and moving up to about 1218 by the end of next week. And at the moment also we have very strong potential support within the cloud around the 1200 round number level. Strong resistance once again at 1237.9 and just above at the Kijun Sen indicator. But just looking at a couple of patterns here in this market, and a very complex head and shoulders type pattern, very hard to define where one would draw the neckline. Here we have something of a complex type left shoulder, very complex left shoulder, very complex head pattern, and a right shoulder complex head pattern through here, and a right shoulder here. The breakout to the downside, the close down below, the retracement back towards the neckline and just through it is fairly classic, with the Kijun Sen holding as resistance, and then the continued selling. But you haven't seen any strong selling following the Kijun Sen acting as resistance, other than that candle that was rejected from there. And obviously this pattern was never going to be a great pattern to trade because of the potentially strong support around the Ichimoku cloud here. Now also at the moment we're watching some sort of pattern form here. As always, we need a prior downtrend, and the market has been trending down from about this 1287 level. The congestion area with higher peaks and higher troughs has formed something of a pennant type pattern or a symmetrical triangle. It's maybe a little bit too big to be a pennant, and perhaps just a little bit too small to be a decent symmetrical triangle, but it doesn't matter. The implications are the same. We'll be waiting for a close above or below either barrier to give us a signal. Now obviously the problem here is if the close is below the lower barrier, we're not going to get a really good target or a potentially reliable target because of the support that may come in anywhere within the Ichimoku cloud. Obviously, if this ends up manifesting itself as a reversal signal, we would be probably more prudent to wait until the market can close up above the Kijun Sen resistance as well, which trades around 1247. So sometimes the targets they can be traded blindly by people, but we always need to look at the potentially strong support or resistance that may affect the price action reaching its target. If we look at the band charts here, and we have seen the market trading down below that lower band, if you recall, we were watching that, but we've seen the breakouts and no strong bearish follow through. And with the market trading down within that lower part of the band and rallying on a couple of occasions to find resistance around the middle of the bands, it does suggest that the bias here certainly is down, but we're not seeing that strong negative tone, that strong tone to the that negative medium-term time frame trend to the downside. If we do see a bearish breakout down below, and that could be when we end up seeing the breakout down below that barrier of the symmetrical triangle or pennant pattern, and then some strong follow through, and we'd like to see the market trade down through this 1206 level, we then could see further development of this trend to the downside. But it certainly does seem as though this market has transitioned from this strong uptrending phase into that downtrending phase, and we are just waiting for the sellers to come in into the market strongly.